The meeting will come to order. Welcome to the virtual October 19th special meeting of the West Hartford Mayor's Youth Council. My name is Grace Peoria and I am the chair to the Youth Council. This meeting is being conducted in a virtual format in accordance with Section 149 of Public Act Number 21-2, which authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings virtually. Members of the Youth Council and some town staff are participating by WebEx. Members of the public can view the meeting live on the WHCI YouTube channel. The meeting is also being recorded for on-demand viewing, which will be available on the town website and YouTube. Because of the virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before I begin. First, I ask all participants to please mute your devices when you are not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order that hands go up. If you are participating via audio only, or I do not call on you, then please unmute yourself and let me know so that I can recognize you. Second, all speakers must make an effort to state their name at the outset of each occasion that such person speaks. Third, to the extent that we take any votes today, due to the difficulty in tallying voice votes on a video conference, I will require that all votes be taken by roll. Fourth, during the course of the meeting, if there is a participant who has a problem with their connection, you should immediately contact me via the contact information provided to you prior to the meeting. I will subsequently recess the meeting until the problem is resolved. If it cannot be resolved quickly, we will ask you to call into the meeting using a phone or participate via audio only. I want to thank everyone in advance for their patience as we work in this virtual setting. Next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If we can all recite the Pledge of Allegiance at this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I will now call the roll. Would the following members of the board please say present when your name is read? Reese Berrigan.
Present.
Daphne Brewer.
Present.
Jack Gold.
Present.
Sienna Goldfisher is not present today. Sarah Grinquist.
Present.
Keiko Mordecai. Okay. Maya Palenke.
Present.
Chris Riemel.
Present.
Zara Shazad.
Present.
Priya Sinha.
Present.
Let the minutes show that a quorum was present. The next item agenda is approval of minutes. The minutes of the September 14th meeting were distributed to you. Are there any corrections?
I have a correction.
Yes.
Zara, I'd like to correct the spelling of my name to Shahzad.
Mrs. Karp, I would like to make a correction. This would go on the bottom of the minutes. Due to technical difficulties, this meeting was not recorded. Any vote that was taken will be recast at the next meeting.
Are there any other corrections? Okay. If there are no more corrections, the minutes stand approved. The next agenda item is old business. Given the packed agenda of the inaugural meeting, members were not given the opportunity to fully introduce themselves. At this time, we will participate in a brief icebreaker activity to learn more about each other. So I was going to have us all go around, say name, grade, and what commercial jingle you find the most annoying. My name is Grace. I am a senior at Hall, and I don't know had one. The Auto Trader one. Think of it now. So it's awful. Okay. Why don't we actually, to keep it easier, since we're doing this virtually, I'll read off people's names and then we can do it that way. Reese.
Hi, my name is Reese. I'm a junior at Connor. And I think the most annoying jingle for me is the Cars for Kids, 1-800 Cars for Kids.
Daphne.
Hi, my name's Daphne. I'm a freshman at Conard, and mine would probably be all the Liberty Mutual commercials. I can't stand them.
Jack.
Hi, my name's Jack. I'm a junior, and if anyone knows the 1-800 contacts jingle, that one's pretty irritating for me for some reason.
Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a freshman, and probably the nationwide insurance.
Heiko. Not here. Maya.
Hi, I'm Maya. I'm a senior at Conard and probably the K Jewelers one.
Chris.
Hi, I'm Krish. I'm a sophomore at Conard, and I really don't like the goldfish jingle.
Zara.
Hi, I'm Zara. I am a junior at Hull, and I was gonna say the same thing. I don't like the goldfish one.
Priya.
Hi, my name is Priya. I'm a sophomore at Hall, and I also don't like the goldfish one.
Thank you everyone for participating in my very corny icebreaker. Okay, so thank you everyone. It was nice to meet all of you officially. I look forward to working with you throughout this year. Next, we will discuss another old business item, which is subcommittee and impact project ideas for Mayor's Youth Council. Has anyone thought of a possible project and or possible community partnership that we can explore? Yes. Jack.
So mine, should I just share?
Sure.
So mine was called Regrowing West Hartford as a subcommittee. Basically, it's going to be a reforestation project in West Hartford, where a few things we would do is identify diseased and older trees that have become hazards to the community, and in place of those, plant new and vibrant trees in their places. We can also pick plots of land that are neglected in West Hartford and plant new trees and other plants to make it more attractive. And also, we can incorporate more community gardens and help maintaining the parks of West Hartford too.
Awesome. Anybody else? I can see all of you on the scrolling through. Anybody else? I'll share one. I am really passionate about homelessness education, and there's something called everyone has something called their McKinney-Vento rights. McKinney Vento VENTO. McKinney-Vento rights. And essentially, it's a kind of a little bit confusing, and I don't want to take up too much time, but it's incredibly important for every student to know. And it's essentially talking about your rights if you end up experiencing homelessness in your lifetime and how you would get to school. There are kind of a bunch of things that it covers. It's a really, really, really important thing to me, and I think it should be talked more about in our schools in general, especially even just homelessness resources. That would eliminate both alienation, and it would help people who are in those vulnerable situations feel less vulnerable. So that is we could kind of do a lot with that. I work with the Be Hopeful project. We can always do something with them. We do a lot of like education projects throughout the year. We can 100% do a project with them. Yes, Chair recognizes Maya.
Hi, this is Maya. I think it would be important to have a mental health action and awareness committee. I haven't really thought of exact project ideas we could do, but I think there is a lot that we could do.
Yes, Jack. I recognize as Jack.
This is Jack. I think one more we could do is also a subcommittee that helps to plan various social events throughout the year with everyone included in town.
Chair recognizes Zara.
This is Zara speaking. Mine sort of goes with Jack, but I was thinking we could hold like an international night because this town is very diverse, and I think it would be good for promoting diversity in our town and like bringing the teens together, and it would just overall be a fun event, though I don't know the specifics of how it would work yet.
Any other ideas? Don't see anyone else raising their hand. If you want, if I'm not seeing you and you have your hand raised or you have an idea, you can unmute because I can't see all of you. Okay. Those are, that's a great 5, I think.
Do you all see the list on your screen of ideas? Okay, good.
Does anyone else want to add to one of the 5 that we have? Yes, chair recognizes Reese.
This is Reese. I think it would be very important for us to have a team job fair where employers such as restaurant owners and other small shops in across West Hartford to hire specifically team employees. As we are currently starting to merge out of the COVID-19 pandemic and employers are looking for employees, I think would be a good opportunity for teens to get their first job and start experiencing what it's like to be in the workforce, while also simultaneously fulfilling the needs of employers who are looking for employees to fill the positions they need to run their business.
Great. Anybody else? Okay. Do we feel good to move on? Okay. I motion that we vote for which of these ideas we would like to see become Mayor's Youth Council's 3 impact projects for 2021-2022. Does anyone second?
I second that.
Thank you.
Zara.
Okay. First, I will read the ideas on this list. As I read each project, indicate whether you would be interested in working on it by raising your hand. You can vote for as many or as few of these ideas as you would like. At this point, we are just voting for what seems interesting. The 3 projects with the most votes will become our Mayor's Youth Council subcommittees for this year. Okay. So, okay. Mrs. Karp, do you want to tally?
Sure.
Okay. So, I'm going to read them off now. Okay. Regrowing West Hartford, reforestation. Raise your hand if you're interested in doing that.
I have Zara and Jack. And Maya and Sarah. Okay, did I miss anyone besides Zara, Jack, Maya, and Sarah? All right, so we have 4 votes.
Moving on, homelessness education, Be Homeful project with
Okay, for that, I have Grace. I have Daphne, Chris, Maya, Sarah, and Priya. Grace, Daphne, Chris, Maya, Sarah, and Priya. Did I miss anyone? Okay, we have 6 votes.
Mental health action and awareness.
Okay, I have Jack, Chris, Daphne, Priya, Maya, Zara, Reese, and Grace. So Maya, Jack, Chris, Daphne, Priya, Zara, Reese, and Grace. Did I miss anyone? We have 8.
Next idea, plan social events throughout the year for teens in town.
Okay. We have Zara, Reese, Grace, Jack, Daphne, Chris, Maya, Priya. Okay. Zara, Reese, Grace, Jack, Daphne, Chris, Maya, and Priya. 8.
International Night, Diversity of West Hartford.
Okay, I have Zara, Grace, Chris, Sarah, Maya, Priya. Okay. Zara, Grace, Chris, Sarah, Maya, Priya. Did I miss anyone?
I voted yes on that.
Is that
Yeah,
Reese?
Reese. Yeah.
Reese. Thank you, Reese. 7.
Teen job fair, restaurants, small shops would hire teens coming out of COVID pandemic.
Okay, that is Reese, Daphne, Priya. Okay, Reese, Daphne, and Priya. Did I miss anyone? Okay, we are at 3.
Okay, we have selected mental health action and awareness, plan social events throughout the year for teens in town, and International Night Diversity of West Hartford as our impact project ideas. Now I will call your name and you can verbally indicate which one group you would prefer to serve on, and each group will have about 2 to 5 members. Okay, Reese.
I would prefer to serve on the planning of social events.
Daphne.
If possible, I'd also like to serve on the planning of social events around town.
I would like to serve on the mental health action and awareness committee. Jack.
I would like to serve on planning social events.
Sarah.
I would like to serve on mental health action and awareness. Committee.
Okay, go. Not here. Maya.
I would also like to serve on mental health action and awareness.
Chris.
I would like to serve on the International Night one.
Zara.
I would also like to serve on the International Night.
Priya.
I'd like to serve on the mental health action and awareness one.
Okay. Thank you for selecting your impact project group. Following this meeting, Mrs. Karp will create a mailing list for each subcommittee. The expectation will be that the subcommittee would meet virtually for at least once before November 23rd, and will come prepared to give a brief report to the whole council as to what was discussed. Are there any questions? Okay. The next agenda item is new business. Mrs. Karp, our staff liaison, would like to mention some council-related news.
Thank you. So for those of you who took a look at the Mayor's Youth Council agenda, there are some possible collaborations that have come across my desk that I would like to mention to you. These are different organizations within the West Hartford community that have reached out to see if Mayor's Youth Council members would like to assist with their projects. So the following things that I'm going to mention to you, if something sounds interesting and you would like to participate, please contact me via email, and then I will be able to connect you to these different groups within the community. So the first collaboration is Witness Stone's project. This is a group led by Judy Wyman Kelly, Tracy Wilson, who is the town historian, and Liz Devine, and they are all members of a group called the Witness Stones Advisory Committee. They are working on a project to uncover the names of people who were enslaved in West Hartford. So far, they've identified about 70 people up into the 1930s who were enslaved in this town. The Witness Stone Project is interested in having members of Mayor's Youth Council petition to Town Council to help to rename some streets in West Hartford. In particular, they would like to rename New Street, which is a street that goes between the Noah Webster Library and Whole Foods. They have sent me a copy of the Public Works Department's application for the honorary and historic renaming of public streets, which members of Mayor's Youth Council could use to help make this change. Aside from filling out a petition, Mayor's Youth Council members might be asked to help with other things such as interviewing people, hosting a podcast, creating a virtual walking tour of Witness Stone plaques in West Hartford, or making an informational brochure. So if anyone thinks that they might be interested in this project, renaming New Street in West Hartford, you would just email me to let me know, and then I can connect you to the people in this group. One of them may be joining our meeting in a few minutes.
Hey, Carrie,
if you do,
I'm
we
here.
will. Oh my gosh, Judy is here.
Yeah.
We have
Welcome,
a-
Judy. Hello,
Hi.
welcome. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Oh my gosh, our first guest speaker. Hi, Judy. So
Hi, and
not sure-
Tracy's planning
Explain.
on coming in a few minutes, so.
Okay. Do you want to speak now, or would you like me to wait until Tracy comes?
Maybe we could wait if that's okay, if you don't mind.
So we will circle back to the Witness Stones project. I didn't even hear
Okay.
you speak in. So we will talk about that in a minute. The second thing on the agenda is a job fair. This will appeal to Reese. I was contacted by the town manager, Matt Hart, as well as town councilman Ben Wenograd, Wenograd. They had asked if there were any members of the Mayor's Youth Council who were interested in helping with the community job and resource fair that is hosted by the Chamber of Commerce. The town just hosted a job fair on September 29th, 2021. So I'm not sure when the next job fair is happening, but they have asked if any of our members would like to help with that. If I could forward their names to the town manager as well as to the town councilman, we can have volunteers who will help with the job fair as well. A third opportunity I'll mention, perhaps Mrs. Waxman can speak to it as well, but the town of West Hartford is purchasing a property at 100 Mayflower Street for the purpose of building a new multi-use municipal community center, which will host the new Faxon Branch Library. A 9-member advisory board is being formed that will meet monthly with the architecture firm designing this project to make sure that the new building's design and function will benefit our community. Excitingly, the advisory group would like one representative from Mayor's Youth Council to serve on this group. The Mayor's Youth Council member would get to work with others from the West Hartford Public Library Board, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, the Pedestrian and Bicycle Safety Commission, the Senior Citizens Advisory Board, the Clean Energy Commission, the Elmwood Business Association, and residents at large. So if anybody on this group would like to possibly sit in on those meetings, we would love to have a representative from Mayor's Youth Council also be on that community advisory group.
Carrie, would it be all right if I talked a little bit about it?
Please.
Okay, hi everybody, it's Mrs. Waxman. So to me, this is one of the most exciting things that is happening in our town. This is an opportunity to have an entire new building. We're not sure yet whether the present building that the new community center will be located in will be either reconfigured or raised and a new building will be built. The architects will tell us that soon. But all of the groups that are now at the Elmwood Community Center will move over to the new building, and also some new groups. So that would include the Senior Center, the Teen Center, which I've not seen, but I heard is very, very tiny, will definitely be expanded, the Daycare Center, the Faxon Branch Library. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Those are the major groups, but they're looking for other groups. Do we want to have a theater? Do we want to have a cafe? What do we need? What do we want? And it's up to the advisory group made up of all these different people from different groups in West Hartford to give their opinions and their ideas. So of course we want to hear from the teens. What do you want in a teen center? So I hope one of you will join the group. Thank you.
Okay, so these are 3 of our possible collaborations, and it looks like we have both of our guests from the Witness Stones project. So Tracy and or Judy, if you wanted to speak more about that opportunity, feel free to speak to our teens.
Okay, Tracy, why don't you start? You're muted. You're muted. Can you all hear her? I can't hear her.
Tracy, can you hear us?
How about now?
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, I needed to unmute. I just said thanks for inviting me to the meeting. I'm one of the directors of the Witness Stones project in West Hartford, and some of you may have been involved in it in 8th grade. We're trying to uncover the names of people who were enslaved here and to tell their stories. And then we ask students to become civically engaged in the town to spread these stories to a larger audience. So, you know, most of the things you do in school, your audience is your teacher. And what we like to say in the Witness Stones project is we want your project, or we want your work to go beyond the classroom. We want to amplify the stories of people who were enslaved here. So last year, we had students who asked the town council if they could change the name of a street to the name of somebody who was enslaved. And several students went to the town council and appealed to them to change the name of the street to Liddy Street, to Pelagnot Street. And the town council did not just say, sure, we'd love to do that. They said, oh, we don't have a process to know how to rename streets. And so they spent about 6 months coming up with a process for renaming streets, which includes getting a petition with 100 signatures on it, and going before the Town Planning and Zoning Commission to make your case to change the street. And we had really focused on a street in Blueback Square called New Street NEW. It's not new anymore. And we thought that would be a really good target for the first street. There are like 600 streets in West Hartford, none of which are named after someone who was enslaved. So 6 months later, now we have a plan, but now all the students who studied these people have moved on, and we sort of lost track of them because now they're in 9th grade in different high schools. And so we thought that maybe it could be a project that the Youth Council could take on we have a website that has the stories of now about 35 people of the 75 names that we have. And that you might be willing to jump into this process to move the town to name one of the streets after someone who was enslaved here. I don't know if you have any questions for me, or if you, we have a team of 3 people, 3 retired teachers who are working on this project. And then we work with 8th grade teachers in town at all the public middle schools in town. So we have like a brief moment, like 2 weeks, that they study this. And then, we want to make it a bigger change in the town as well. And I think this would really be a great way to leave a legacy for the town.
Can I add too that you also working in some of the independent schools, right? Private
Yes,
schools?
we work at Kingswood Oxford and Solomon Schechter Day School as well. So we do projects with them every year. There was a group of students from Kingswood Oxford who made their case to the town council last year. But now I think some of those students have graduated, and so then we're sort of back to ground zero. No, that's probably not the right term, but we're back to the beginning and trying. And it's not like in some towns they go to the town council, they say, oh, that's a great idea, and they change the name, but they set up a bunch of different a process that is going to take some sustained effort. It's more than just going to speak to them. So I don't know, does it sound interesting to anyone here? I see some nods. All right, any questions?
So if there are teens who are interested, would you be sort of mentoring them through this process of learning how to rename the streets and
Absolutely.
petition and things like that?
And it would be, by Zoom that we'd meet, and it'd probably take one meeting to sort of go through the process, and maybe another meeting to focus on an individual and learn their story and talk about why that story is compelling. And then it would be a question of you getting the 100 signatures and going. I think there are 3 steps of the process. But I think it would be a great experience. And I feel like the town is really ripe for it to happen and willing for it to happen. So I think you could really get a result, which is of course, very satisfying. And then you'd know this street, you know, that you were part of, you know, changing the landscape here in town.
Has the name already been selected, or with the students who work with you, would you work together to decide which name?
Well, students last year came forward with, I think, 4 different names. So I don't know, we could discuss how we chose what name it would be. And I think, you know, there's also a group of people who are trying to work on getting more historic signs in town. So, you know, hopefully with the street sign would come a historic sign which said, you know, this is who this person is, and this is why, you know, we wanted a street named after them. So it's a, you know, a many part project, and but it seems like there's something for everyone in it.
Earlier in our meeting, we had talked about our subcommittee projects and impact projects that we're going to be working on throughout the year. And one of the groups expressed an interest in doing an international night / diversity night. So I'm wondering if in some way this could possibly get tied into that event, possibly if people work on it, and then we could like announce the street name at that event. But I'm not sure how long it would take for this process to happen.
Yeah,
Do you
I
think this
mean,
would
it
happen
seems like,
within this Mayor's Youth Council term, or do you think this would be like a more long term?
no, I think it could be done in like maybe 4 or 5 months if we. And I would say one other project, which is maybe a little simpler, is I'm hoping you've all seen the mural on the side of the library, which is just spectacular. On the as you walk down the stairs to Blueback Square, there is the head of a woman, and then there are dreadlocks that go behind her, and it has all these names on them, and the names are of people who were killed by police. But also there are 11 names in there of people who were enslaved here in West Hartford. So Lou and Kate and Simone, and there's 11 different people who are in there. And one of our other projects that we wanted to do was to provide the stories of those people, because most people don't even know that, right? And we're thinking of a QR code kind of thing where you could put your phone on it and then someone could read in their story, so that when people go by, they could listen and know that these were local people, as well as like Ahmaud Arbery is on there, and George Floyd, and Sandra Bland, and so it's pretty cool that there's a big local piece to that as well. But most people don't know because there's no signage that says it, and people wouldn't know these names. So that's another possibility for a project.
Does anyone have any other questions about witness stones or any of the other possible collaborations that were mentioned? So usually what I like to do with my teen volunteers is I let the ideas marinate and then let them sit on it for a day or two, and then usually they'll email me and contact me. So as soon as I hear any information, I can give that back to you, any of the names of the members who would be interested in helping. So
that's awesome. Thanks so much for giving us a chance to talk to you.
Thank you for coming.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Katie, bye, Tracy. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just had a few other things to mention. Sorry, Grace, to interrupt.
Good.
Aside from those 3 things, just another piece of new business. We do have a media request for the Mayor's Youth Council. So for those of you who are familiar with weha.com, they're interested in doing an article about us next month, hopefully for publication in December. At this point, it will be myself and Mrs. Waxman who will be doing the interview, but if there is potential for one of the members to join that interview, I will throw that out to the group. And if anyone would like to be in the article, you are more than welcome to do that. And the last piece of news is that on September 30th, I went to a board and commission training, which was hosted by West Hartford's Corporation Council. It was a very interesting meeting that taught us a lot of information about things like the Freedom of Information Act, notice of meetings, which is minutes and agendas, things about remote and hybrid meetings. And I got a lot out of going to that training. So in speaking with the Assistant Corporation Counsel, Cynthia Latour, she said that she would be willing to meet with the Mayor's Youth Council to give us our own personal training about any of our meeting related questions that we might have. So I was wondering if you as a group would be interested in having some kind of an open-ended Q&A session with Corporation Counsel to ask them questions related to Mayor's Youth Council, such as things about our use of texting, Google Drive, conducting working meetings, using Robert's Rules of Order, the town's social media policy. We could ask her whatever questions we want, and then she could give us the answers. So firstly, do you think that kind of training is a good idea? And the second question is, would this be something that we would do during a Mayor's Youth Council meeting, or would that be something that people would want to do outside of Mayor's Youth Council time? What are our thoughts?
Chair recognizes Zara.
This is Zara speaking. I think that would be a very good idea since I don't think most of us have a lot of experience being on a council. I think we should do it outside of Mayor's Youth Council time because we have a lot of important things to share during our 1 hour each month.
I know that in applications and interviews for Mayor's Youth Council, a lot of people had mentioned that one of their goals of this group was to learn more about town boards, commissions, and councils. So this would be one way to do that. Just throwing that out there.
This is Grace speaking. I think it'd be a really good idea to do it, especially since I don't think a lot of us know a lot about councils. Like Zara said, I think we should probably do it outside since we have so little time together. That way, if people seem interested in it, or we can have a minimum number of people that we would do it with. And yeah, Chair recognizes Daphne.
I also agree, and I feel like it'll just make us more successful as a whole if we're focusing more on what we're trying to achieve and less on, or have to spend less energy and focus on how we're actually working as a council if we just know how to do it correctly.
Anybody else?
So I think that the action step on that will be that I will contact Cynthia Latour from Corporation Council, ask her when would be some available times that she might be here to speak with people, and then we could possibly set up an optional event for anybody who's on this council who would like to participate in the training. So I will send out some possible dates, hopefully in the next week or two, and then you can just get back to me to let me know if you would like to attend. That's it for me.
Okay. Would any members like to make a council-related announcement? Seeing none, all agenda items have been discussed. I move that we adjourn this meeting. Does anyone second?
Second.
What's that? I don't know who was first. I see Maya's on my screen. Oh my god. Maya second. Okay. All in favor say yes.
Wait, before we officially adjourn, sorry, for announcements, I forgot. Last meeting, we had talked about doing action steps in bin items. So are there any action steps that we as a group need to take between this meeting and the November 23rd meeting?
The meetings with the, this is Grace, the meetings with the specific groups. I think we all have each other's personal information by now. So we can either make separate group chats or email, or we can have email lists and at least have some sort of communication. I know this time of year is busy, especially for my fellow seniors, but if anyone has time to kind of do some correspondence, kind of come up with some ideas before the next meeting, I think that would be good. Chair recognizes Zara.
I think that between now and the next meeting, we should establish a professional means of communication, maybe Discord. I think Maya had a few ideas at our last meeting of how we could communicate, but we should definitely figure that out before the next meeting.
After speaking with Corporation Counsel, they did recommend not using Slack, which was the software that we had recommended at the previous meeting. And they recommended that we use Google Drive instead, so that documents can be shareable if there's a Freedom of Information request. So would it be okay if we set up a Google Drive? Or I believe that Sarah had mentioned something about setting up a Google Classroom for us.
Yes.
Sarah, I'm not sure if you can speak to that.
Chair recognizes Zach. Oh my God, Jack.
So yeah, we can definitely set up a Google Drive, but as a means of like more professional communication, I use something through school called Twist, which basically it's almost like an SMS text messaging, but it's between emails and everything like that, and it's all linked in through Google. So we can consider using that if we want to.
Yes, I will ask about that tomorrow.
Chair recognizes Sarah.
As far as Google Classroom, it's one thing I think helped me to just organize everything to have. I can definitely send out to every wants to create the classroom how that will work, but it would just really help me to have that to be organized in addition to all the other forms of communication that people come up with.
Yes, I think Google Classroom would be good to put all of our meeting agendas, minutes, and then the subcommittee folders could go in there as well. Let me also mention that the people who are on subcommittees, so you're supposed to meet once before November 23rd, but also at the next meeting, someone from your subcommittee should prepare a brief report for Mayor's Youth Council. So maybe a 3 or 4 minute presentation about whatever you've been discussing, whatever you've been talking about, present that to the group. And then if we need to make some kind of a vote or something, let me know ahead of time so that we can put that in the script for the next meeting. Because since we are part of an organization, we represent the mayor, we represent each other. We can't just go rogue and start doing different projects and activities without passing it by Mayor's Youth Council first. So if you come up with an idea, we would have to vote on it before it becomes an actual action. Right, so for the secretary, Sarah, it looks like the action items, everyone's going to meet with their subcommittees. They're going to prepare a brief report. And then hopefully you will be able to create a Google Classroom for us.
Chair recognizes Chris.
Within our subcommittees, if we were to be in a call, would we have to have that call be recorded or? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-mm. We actually don't need to record our meetings when we're in person, but when they're virtual, that's the only reason that we need to record them. But you don't need to record working meetings. which would be another good question for the Assistant Corporation Counsel, asking her about working meetings. Right. And then any bin items, that would just be if something was totally off topic that you wanted to bring up at this time as a possible agenda item for a future meeting. So if somebody has just a random idea, feel free to throw it out. If not, we can adjourn the meeting.
Okay, I'm gonna do this second time. As all agenda items have been discussed, I move that we adjourn this meeting. Does anyone second?
Second.
Daphne seconds. All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. Okay, this meeting is adjourned. The next meeting is on November 23rd at 6 p.m.